almost got up. I was like, yes, finally got up. And just I turned back, and the invigilator was like, sit down, sit down. Due to like personal commitments as well as my work-wise commitments, I couldn't be consistent. I was like using brute force. Okay, given that quant was my forte, I was like, okay, I can just solve it. But that was costing me both in terms of time and efficiency. This is more of an outlier, right?
Yeah.
That kind of gave me confidence. Okay, I should take a re-attempt. I remember exam before studying exam, I sat there for like 5-10 minutes and just closed my eyes and was just meditating. Okay, whatever happens, just let it happen. Back of my head, I was thinking that I might have to retake the exam, so I was like, okay, I have to again study. But seeing a 750, that was definitely a relief.
Hi, Ayush. Welcome to today's Success Story debrief. Thank you for taking your time out today to give us your insights from this wonderful GMAT journey that you had. So, congratulations on your 760, a massive 120-point improvement from a 640, which was the score that you started out with. What a journey it has been.
It has been really great and it feels really great to finally score. Yeah.
I'm sure. So, can you tell us how was your feeling when you saw that score pop up on the screen?
It was really amazing feeling. I remember I almost got up. I was like, yes, finally got up. And just I turned back, and the invigilator was like, sit down, sit down. So, yeah. And I was not expecting that score at all. So, during the exam, I kind of felt that it did not go as well. But seeing that 760 definitely boosted me. It was really a relieving feeling. Okay, finally this is done. Because during the exam, I was thinking that okay, this is not going as good as planned. So back of my head, I was thinking that I might have to retake the exam. So I was like, okay, I have to again study. But seeing a 750, that was definitely a relief. Okay, now it's finally done. I can move to the next step of the process.
Yes, awesome. I was just telling you before we started this session that I came across a mail that you had sent quite some time back in which you had clearly mentioned 760 is the score I want. That is the kind of dream score that I'm looking for. And really, really happy that finally we are here today. And all kudos to the hard work and determination and the sweat that you put into the prep. So congratulations on that again.
Thanks, Shishma. To add to that, it's not just the hard work. I think eGMAT definitely helped me out a lot, and you were there towards the whole process. I think you worked there for like a couple of months, and I think this score is this performance is as much as mine, as much as GMAT. So it was really helpful.
Pleasure has been ours. So, Ayush, I know it's been a long journey with a lot of obstacles, given your personal, professional commitments and everything, and we'll talk about it. But if I have to ask you to encapsulate it and give us one of your key takeaways from this journey, what would that be?
I'll say consistency. That was lacking in my preparation. So, due to like personal commitments as well as my work-wise commitments, I couldn't be consistent. So it was like I was working for 1 and 2 months. I was studying very rigorously for 1 and 2 months, and then something will come up, and I would have dropped it off. I think a couple of times you also pushed me. Okay, don't delay it so much. So that was, I think, one of the hurdles because of which I took longer than expected, because every time I took a break or got involved in other things, and when I came back, I was not at that level I was before, right? So it would take some time to again revise and take all the quizzes and do the whole learning path so that to reach that level, gain that confidence back. So I think consistency is the key. Apart from that, I think the material and the course structure is really good so that it will kind of prepare you for everything. It's just that you have to be consistently focused for 3 to 4 months or maybe 6 months, and then it is pretty much achievable.
Yes, I think, yes, I would definitely agree with you because, if you're not consistent, whatever the amount of hard work you put in sort of goes to waste because, you really don't get the dividends of the hard work that you put in if you aren't consistent. So that's a wonderful takeaway to have, because as a GMAT prep, in real life too, consistency, I think, plays key to anything and everything that we do. So before we get into that journey and how consistency helped you get to where you are now, can you give our viewers a brief about your background? What's your educational background and what you do um,
Okay.
in your professional capacity?
Yeah. So uh, I'm a graduate from IT Delhi. I graduated in 2016, majored in civil engineering, but I never worked in civil engineering and did not like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So post that, I have been working in fintech industry only.
Mm-hmm.
For last 7 years, I have been working with this industry, lending industry. I
Mm-hmm.
work as a credit risk manager for PhonePe right now, and so pretty much. So quant wise, I was already set because day in day
Mm-hmm.
out I'm working that part only. So
Yes.
and working in the industry, obviously, achieving this role as a manager role, I feel that this MBA could definitely help me, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm pursuing this.
Okay. Awesome. So I remember that you took your first GMAT attempt way back in 2020. That didn't go particularly
Yes,
well. I think it was a 640 with a
that's what.
V29 and a Q49, right?
Yes, I think yeah, it was mainly verbal at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of told you that you had to focus on verbal, right? And I know that you started, preparing with eGMAT sometime in 2021, mainly to, because
Mm.
verbal was where you needed to improve. Quant was still at a 49. With that focus on verbal, you came on board. But I think that prep didn't actually go as planned. There were a lot of hiccups and issues there. So can you just give us an insight into your initial bit of prep and what were the kind of hiccups that you had during that time?
So first score when I took the GMAT in 2020, it was more like a self prep. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I got some material through my friends who scored well, and it was like, yeah, you can do it by self prep. So I was like, okay, a quant, I was pretty much confident because
Mm-hmm.
my whole life I have been working in that sector, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
my conditioning has been in quant. So even solving some questions in quant, I was pretty much comfortable. It was just matter of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal definitely was a bit of challenge to me. CR, I was pretty much comfortable because again, reasoning and analytics,
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in day in day out, so it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
RC was a challenge because I don't have that reading habit to
Mm-hmm.
focus for those like go through those 400 word paragraph passages and then get
Mm-hmm.
the sense of it. SC definitely I was lagging behind because the
Mm-hmm.
grammatical concepts that was I needed to learn. So
Mm-hmm.
through those self-help books, I did get some sense. I I took a mock as well and scored a 720 in that mock, but the
Mm-hmm.
exam was completely different. I was kind of shattered after looking at 740, not 740,
Mm-hmm.
640.
Mm-hmm.
And post that, I think there was something happened with my family, so I had to go back
Mm-hmm.
home. COVID hit, so then there was a huge break of 1 year. I was at the hometown during COVID, and I couldn't start the preparation at that time. And then I
Mm-hmm.
again in 2021 I resumed the preparation. I started talking with people, and then I got to know about eGMAT. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
recommended me that it's a very good course and verbal wise because I knew that I was lagging behind in verbal, so I was mainly looking for a course structure which can help me in verbal, especially in SC grammar part.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
thought about eGMAT, I bought the course, I went through the course, and obviously it was a very comprehensive course. It took me a
Mm-hmm.
couple of months to go through the course because
Mm-hmm.
I was working back then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So after taking the course, I think the attempt which I took and I scored, I think 690.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
uh, I did not took any mock at that point actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I did just put a date because I wanted to put a pressure on myself because I know that I was lagging behind. So I just finished the course. I think I just finished the course a week back, and I
Mm-hmm.
just watched everything, and I
Mm-hmm.
just took that exam. I think I did connect with one of the mentors at eGMAT, and he said that okay, just go and get the exam. You'll get
Mm-hmm.
a see how where you stand.
Mm-hmm.
And during the exam, I felt okay. Something has improved. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
verbal. I had much more confidence, but again, since I did not take any mocks and there was the fine tuning was not there. I could feel that
Mm-hmm.
towards the end, I was massively lagging behind the questions. Towards the end, I think I marked 5 6 questions just randomly because I did not want
Mm-hmm.
to leave the questions in mark both for quant and verbal. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a massive timing issue because I did not practice enough
Mm-hmm.
these read the questions. I did not have practice in 1 hour and do these questions. So, and then so that was the lagging point why I couldn't score as much I could have.
Yes.
So concept-wise, everything was clear. It just was a timing issue. After that, I switched jobs, and again there was work pressure. And I said that I was not very consistent. Again, there was a gap of, I think, 6 months. I rolled into a new work profile, and there was added responsibility. So I chose to focus on that at that point of time, because this new profile was in line with what I planned for my career, and it would definitely help me in my MBA application as well. So I took that profile and worked towards it. In August, I think I started again preparing, and as I said, since I took a break again, so I had to again start from scratch, because confidence was not there, right? Because once you are in the flow, the question, when you read the questions, you start automatically picking up things, right? When you're reading SC, you automatically start dividing it into sentence structure, and you start getting your wrong, this is right. Even in CR, you start getting the meaning, you start getting the assumptions and everything. But after 6 months, I was like, okay, I have to start again. So again, I redid the course. So I think over this whole lifetime, I think I have gone through the course at least 4 times. So yeah, so.
But I think each time you had it almost within the reach, but because of the kind of professional commitments that you had to take a break, and so you had to come back and revise and stuff, because a 6 month gap is too huge a gap for you to remember and retain everything and be in that flow of answering questions, as you mentioned.
Even the concept wise, I could remember, but the flow part, when you read questions, you automatically, like inside your head, you start understanding what is wrong, what is right. That kind of thing comes after a lot of practice. So I started in August, and I prepped for like 5-6 months, and then I started taking the mock. I think the first official mock at eGMAT I took in October 2022. Yeah, I scored very well. I think I scored 750 in that mock. I lagged in quant. I think I scored a 48 in quant.
46.
And, 46, yeah.
I remember that score. So yeah.
So it was, before that I did not go through the quant course, but I think he recommended me to go through the course, and I went to the course, and I realized it wasn't the concept issue, but how to approach a question, right? So one very important thing I learned, that you need to first kind of analyze the question stem itself, right? Break it down, get into what exactly needs to be done, because it could be a complex question stem, but if you boil it down to a smaller or a simplified version, it could be like as simple as you need to find whether it's odd or even, or whether the answer is prime or not prime, right? So once you simplify it, it kind of really helps you to solve the question very quickly. And I was not being in the earlier attempts. I was like using brute force. Okay, given that quant was my forte, I was like, okay, I can just solve it. But that was costing me both in terms of time and efficiency. But after going through the quant course, I think after that I scored Q50 all the time. I couldn't achieve Q1, but Q50 was consistent with that.
Yeah.
Verbal, I think I was doing good. Majorly, my performance was good in SC, CR, and RC. CR has been my strong suit, I think, because I could analyze things faster, those sentences, and come up with assumptions, pre-thinking, and everything. I think I was lagging in RC and SC. And the attempt which I took, where I scored 720, mainly it was RC. There was 2 passages which kind of baffled me. I couldn't understand those passages completely. I think humanities passage, and I was like, okay, what is happening? I don't understand. I spent a lot of time in those passages, and even then I don't think I got any of the questions right. And since I spent a lot of time on these passages, I had to rush towards the end, and that cost me in both RC and SC as well.
Yes.
So, I think we started corrective actions post the exam, and I redid the, I think, RC course, and the main point was to kind of be more engaged towards in the passage, to start kind of predicting what is coming next. And once I started doing this, once I started following the, I think, 6-step approach for the RC key, what all things you need. I was more clear about the passage. I was taking lesser time. Obviously, there was no scope of rereading the passage. I was able to understand each sentence, each segment, clearly. That was helping me both in terms of accuracy as well as um, uh, uh, um, I was much faster to solve the RC questions. So I
Got
think
it.
that helped really in the last attempt as well.
Yes.
SC, there was some gaps. I think there was a couple of questions which were almost new to me
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
exam in that 720 attempt. So I redid the SC course as well, but I think SC was earlier also on point. But I think the major difference between 720 and 760 was RC, which kind of
Yes.
improved that score.
Very true, very true. I think what you said, we can sort of divide it into three parts, how you were able to overcome the challenges in verbal by following that structured approach, right? For example, you in SE, you said, the kind of rules that you follow to approach the question from creating the sentence structure to
Yeah.
meaning to errors, and in RC, just that conscious reading to be able to break down the sentences and follow those steps, read consciously, and really understand what you're reading, right? Uh,
No, I think for each section, I have seen like firsthand the following the approach. Like initially, I was thinking, okay, what is this following the approach? Like I can solve
mm-hmm,
questions, but in each of them, like I realized with time that following the approach was definitely helping. Like it kind of
mm-hmm,
creates a structure where you cannot falter. So even
mm-hmm,
if you see, you have to start with sentence structure. You have to understand the meaning first, and then only go into then only go into the grammatical error. Earlier, I was
mm-hmm,
just trying to find what is the error, what is the error, trying
mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm,
check if you have any subject verb error or verb tense error or anything. But I think the correct process was to first break it into sentence structure, understand the meaning, and then go towards the error. And that
yes,
definitely helped me to reject the answer choices as well because you knew okay, what you need to
mm,
fix, what
yeah,
meaning to convey. So that was
yes,
definitely helping for CR again. Since I was kind of confidently I can analyze these questions and
mm-hmm,
do it. But again, that pre-thinking was definitely a game changer for me.
mm-hmm,
Like a lot of times, I was thinking, okay, reading the answer choices and trying to fit back, okay, whether this could is
mm-hmm,
this could strength or this could weaken. But that pre-thinking, like before even going to the answer choices, first analyzing and thinking, uh, a lot of time we think that it will take time, like it will take 10 seconds. Why to
mm-hmm,
waste? Not the pre-thinking. Let's just jump to the answer choice. But like once you start doing it, you realize that it saves a lot of time because in your head, first of all, it gives you clarity about the
mm-hmm,
passage. Uh,
mm,
you know the passage, then only you can do pre-think. And second, a lot of times the pre-thinking is exactly your answer choice. So especially in like medium and medium hard questions, you will get
mm-hmm,
okay, you thought this and this will be the answer choice. And it happened on
mm-hmm,
the exam as well. I remember
mm,
many times it happened that I had to re-go through the answer choices to think, okay, this can't be this easy. There are a couple
yeah,
of questions like that, but
mm-hmm,
pre-thinking definitely helps. It gives you clarity about the passage as well as reduces the chances of error as well because there are a
mm-hmm,
lot of trap choices in answers.
yes,
So that definitely kind of helps. Again, in RC, again pre-thinking is the game.
mm-hmm,
Pre-thinking as well as getting engaged in the passage. I was not being that engaged.
mm-hmm,
They are like steps given in the course. Okay, you need to look at the consequence words or like trigger words. You have to
mm-hmm,
keep asking why the author has written this passage. After every passage, you have to, after every paragraph, you have to kind of predict what is
mm-hmm,
come
mm-hmm,
next to understand the structure. And one important thing which I realized was that the passage is written in a very structured order. There is
mm-hmm,
a purpose of that passage. It's not a
yes,
story, right? So once you start analyzing, when you start reading the passage from those lens,
mm-hmm,
you automatically start picking up the okay, what the author is trying to say, what this passage is all about. So that will help you both in like main point type of questions as well as questions where they ask the purpose of this passage, right? So that definitely helps there. So
yeah,
at the end, I think when I was like revising or anything, I had like three words for each of these. SC, you have to meaning based approach and
mm-hmm,
sentence structure. For CR and RC, you have to pre-think. You have to pre-think. Like there's
mm-hmm,
no other choice. Like at the end, after going through the course so many times, I was like, everything boils down to these three parameters. Okay, you have to do these things, and then you are all set.
yes. That's, I think, beautifully said, because it's the processes that define how well you can answer, especially questions that are of a particular difficulty level, right? Medium questions you can still answer with,
Exactly, exactly.
let me look at the answer choices. But when it comes to hard, those nuances and all, uh, to catch them, it is important that you have a structured approach. And I'm very glad that you are able to apply it. I'm sure it didn't come easy because, as you
Yeah,
said, initially you thought,
yeah,
why do this? But
exactly.
now that you've done that and seen the proof of what can come out of it, I'm sure you know how it helps. So that's really good. That really helped you go from that V29 to a V42. That's like a massive 13-point improvement. That's huge, right? So awesome. Quant though, you've already always scored a 49, but then when you came back after a big gap,
Hmm.
it had dipped to a 46.
Yes.
And it goes to show even an IIT is not completely, there in terms of
Yeah, yeah,
quant, maybe, right? There's always that learning to be had. And
exactly.
you mentioned how, because it was a Q46, you did the entire quant course. So can you tell us about, because of course, I'm sure you did start out at a higher ability. So you use the PACE engine to help you,
Yes.
navigate your way through quant. And how did that how was that journey from that Q46 to a Q50?
Yes. So obviously the Pace Engine kind of helped me to save time. Like it
Mm-hmm.
only showed me the concepts which I really needed to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the major learning which I got from the quant course was first how to approach the question,
Mm-hmm.
because I had a habit of like using brute force. Okay, I know I can solve this.
Mm-hmm.
Might take time, but I can solve this. But uh, a lot of times it's all about the structure. First, you need to, as I said, first you need to resolve the question stem,
Mm-hmm.
understand what exactly needs to be found, and second important thing was covering all the cases. Like
Mm-hmm.
kind of lagging in those kind of questions where you have to come up with what all cases can be there. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that definitely helped in the course, and the questions like whether this is sufficient or not, those kind of questions,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that majorly includes covering all the cases, right? If it's
Yep.
a numerical questions, I was pretty confident I can come up with the answer, the numerical answer, which could be straight away there.
Mm-hmm.
The sufficiency and data sufficiency kind of questions, there I
Mm-hmm.
was lagging. And the course structure kind of helped me out because it showed me how to approach these kind of
Mm-hmm.
questions. What all
Mm-hmm.
cases to consider, how to approach what all cases needs to be considered, right? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
solve the question by using cases, and then first of all knowing what all cases needs to be there, that also was very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Concept wise, I think a couple of concepts were also helpful. Mainly, I think in number properties, I was kind of lag.
Mm-hmm.
There, some of the concepts were really helpful, and they kind of improved my accuracy in that set.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think major boost came from the structure part,
Got it.
to
So
the approach, how to solve the question. I was lagging in that, and once I fixed that, I started using the approach. Then I think I was scoring well.
it is structure, structure, structure
Exactly, exactly.
throughout, right? So that's nice. I think after that you never scored below a Q50, be it in either mocks or your actual attempts, right? So you did the verbal and quant, your mock scores were going good. You took the test. It was a 720. It's a good score, but not your dream score. Not with the score that you set out your journey with. So I'm sure it was a bit disappointing after having put in all the effort. So how did you deal with that? You know, uh,
Uh,
Not so
it was
expected kind
yeah,
of a score. Yeah.
exactly. It was a mixed feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of my peers, they were like, okay, 720 is a good score, you can still apply. But I think talking with you and going through the performance, like past performance, go through the scorenium, you kind of gave me confidence. Okay, you can achieve this score. It could be a bad day, and I knew one thing that was important. I knew where I lagged. I knew that
Mm-hmm.
it was those two RC passages which kind of
Mm-hmm.
dropped my accuracy, right? And once I
Mm-hmm.
got the PSR, I could see, okay, towards the end, I kind of ran out of time, and there I
Yeah.
costed a lot of inaccuracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, I knew through the scholarinium, I kind of knew where my ability lies. and I think you pointed that out. Okay, 75 percentile in all those segments. Then that means this is more of an outlier, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me confidence. Okay, I should take a reattempt. So I think I started with uh, the test readiness thing. Taking the quizzes, small quizzes, then
Yes.
longer quizzes, and taking the mocks, and then again trying to see where you are lacking and then improving on that. So obviously,
Yes.
given that RC was a challenge, I started with RC. I went through the course, I started applying the process, and in the test readiness itself, I felt a bit more confident in the
Mm-hmm.
passage. I started my accuracy for hard questions completely improved,
Yes.
and after taking the mock itself, I think that mock I scored 750 or 760. I think I
Yeah.
scored in that mock.
Yeah.
So that gave me more confidence. And then I think the last mock I took, I think there I did not score that well.
Yeah,
I think
you
I
didn't
scored a
score too well.
750 or something. Yeah,
Yes.
but I think um, I couldn't do anything at that point.
Yeah.
Next was my exam, but I was confident going through all the passage. And in that particular mock itself, I tried to see where I faulted. Right, so I think I
Mm-hmm.
faulted in kind of quant. Why I faulted? Because I kind of rushed. I did not solve the questions completely.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
there were a couple of mistakes. I think 4 or 5 questions. I knew what was to be done. I knew the logic
Mm-hmm.
and everything, but I think I kind of made some mistakes toward the end. So I had to be more conscious while solving the con questions. And in verbal, I think
Mm-hmm.
CR, two CRs, I missed a very basic, or you can say a minute detail, and that's why I got them wrong. And in SC also, there was a couple of mistakes. So going through the analysis of the mock, I realized, okay, it was not something I did not know. It was
Mm-hmm.
more of a, I have to be more conscious while taking the exam.
Yeah.
So it was not of a concept or you can say the approach issue. It was more of a
Mm-hmm.
more conscious when
Test
you are
taking.
test taking
Test
issue.
take.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
felt that okay, I could fix it. So I did not lose sleep over that. Yeah, I just took. I think I took a couple of quizzes after that, just to see okay if I put conscious effort whether I am able to solve it correctly or not. And I think in quizzes I performed well, so I was okay. Okay, everything
Yeah.
is fine. Go ahead.
I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of a data-driven approach, right?
Exactly.
Data-driven prep, because you have the data to tell you whether this was an outlier, as you mentioned, or this was the norm. So when you see that this is an outlier, then it makes sense to put in that, that 720 attempt or the mock before, uh, the next test that you took. You knew there were outliers because there was a ton of data which was pointing other ways. But at the same time, I think these outliers also point out to those small areas of lingering weaknesses that have remained, which you could further work on, right? So I think that is what it was about from that 720 to that 760. Just identify any further lingering weaknesses and just work on it through, you know, really bolstering RC and then just working on test readiness so that you build those test taking skills, right? So that you didn't run out of time towards the end and you had sufficient time when you required, right?
Yes.
So that's awesome, but I'm sure because this was your fourth attempt, uh, um, you might have been nervous. I'm sure there was that bit of anxiety before the test. How did you
Yes.
deal with it? Because it is I think it plays an important role to be able to manage your nerves before the test. So
Mhm.
how did you manage, how did you go to the test with that, you know
Yeah.
uh, a not so good mark score and
Yes.
just that whole thing weighing on you?
I think one thing which I changed was um, uh, the order of the sections, right?
Sections.
So earlier I used to do quant first and the verbal.
Mm-hmm.
This time I was like, okay, I need to be
Mm-hmm.
fresh and I'm taking verbal. So I
Mm-hmm.
started, I think during the mocks as well, I started taking verbals first and then started taking,
Yes.
so that initially I know I'm much more calmer and I can focus, I can meditate for a
Mm-hmm.
while, then start working on it. I remember exam before starting exam, I sat there for like 5-10 minutes and
Mm-hmm.
just closed my eyes and this was just meditating. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, just let it happen. I
Mm-hmm.
remember the attendant calling me once or twice. I did not even listen to him. I was
I
like, okay,
just
let me.
you were so much into the meditation.
I was just thinking, I just wanted to calm myself because
Okay.
obviously it was traffic. Like it took me 1 hour to reach there. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be very calm because, as you said, the anxiety definitely kind of blocks and kind of clouds your mind, right? So I just wanted to be clear before going to the center, and also wanted to just go through all my performances, and I was just refocusing. Okay, in SC you have to do meaning, and RC you have to be you have to pre-thinking, and you have to focus, kind of those things. Um, but I think it's very important to be calm during the test, because at that point of time you cannot do much, right? It's all about, you can just take the test at the best of your ability. Just try to do one question at a time.
Yeah.
A lot of time I think it kind of it becomes very mammoth task to do 35 questions. So many questions are left, but I think just take one question at a time and try to solve it within the time frame. That kind of uh, helps you. Just chip it away, like chipping it. So
Yes.
that was my approach.
Just chipping at the block slowly and steadily, and just focusing like on every question, right?
But I think after verbal, everything went haywire. I kind of felt that my verbal did not go as planned. So I was like, I was kind of disheartened. I was like, oh, I mean, because towards the end, I kind of was running out of time, because since I wanted to be, I did not wanted to make any errors in the initial half. I was a bit more cautious, because in that previous mock I scored 720, and there was a lot of mistakes, like minute mistakes. So I wanted to be very cautious. So I think I was over cautious, and I spent more than usual time. And towards the end, I was running out of time. So I was solving questions in hurry, but I still managed to solve all the questions. But after that first block, after that after that verbal, I was not very sure that it did go that well. So I was kind of disheartened, but I was like, okay, I have to go through it. I took quant other sections, but um, in quant also, since I was very cautious, again I was over cautious, and there again, like, okay, towards the end, I was again rushing out of time. So IR and AWA, I gave kind of okay, okay. I was like, at that point of time, I was like, I was certain, I have to come again and take the test. But looking at it 760, I was like, okay. I was glad that I did not screw up. So,
yeah, I think this is a big, big takeaway, right? You never know how the test is gone till you see that score, right? I have come across students who knew how it was going, who thought the test was going really well, didn't turn out well, or who thought test isn't going well, as in your case, but you were doing everything proper, right? So I think the important thing here is not to give up, not to let your assumption of how the test is going cloud your performance, right? Just persevere.
I think just don't think about anything in those 4 hours. Just do the test, and don't worry about the result, because at that point you cannot do anything.
Yes, exactly. The only thing in your control is the question in front of you, and the ability or capability to give 100% on that question. That's the only thing I think that is in your control. So that's really wonderful that you did not give up. You did not do quant half-heartedly. Whatever half-heartedness was during IR and AWA. So really happy, right? And I think overall also, right? It has been a long journey. It has been a journey with a lot of hiccups. I know you spoke about professional hiccups, but I know that personally also you went through certain trying times. And, despite all this, I'm really so glad that you persevered. You knew what you could achieve. You believed in that ability despite not so good scores. You trusted in your ability to be able to get to where you wanted to get to. So a big congratulations for that. Just that perseverance, hard work, and never say die attitude.
No, thanks a lot for that. But I think a huge part goes to you as well. Like, I remember throughout the journey, you were continuously pushing me, because there were times I was delaying the process. Like, I was busy in some other thing, and you keep pushing me. Don't take another break. Like, because again, you have, because I think from experience, that once you take a break again, you have to start. I remember this one, that you said that you might not be at your peak performance as you were before if you take a longer break. So even between the mocks, I sometimes I took even 20 days to to do all the things, all the corrective steps between the mock and then take another mock. So there were times I was not consistent. As I said, like consistency is the key, and I was not very consistent. But I think you and the team definitely pushed me and kind of did not lose faith in me because I think the whole process went on for 6 months since I took the first mock. So thanks a lot for not losing faith in me and helping me out till the end.
As I said, the pleasure has been mine and ours. You can see the potential, right? And as I said, it's a data driven preparation system. When you see the potential, you don't want the person to lay waste to it, right? Then you push. You know you can deliver. So uh, why be inconsistent, right?
Yeah, I
So
think that's a very important point. The data-driven thing. See, I have been working in university where everything is data-driven. So I can understand the value of it. So
mhm,
data-driven it kind of tells you exactly where you're lacking.
yes,
Like whether you're lacking in hard questions, whether you're lacking in medium questions. You get the time, how much time you're taking for each subsections, how much time you are taking for each type of questions in CR, how much time you're taking, and that definitely helps because I remember when I started early, I was facing a lot of bold questions, bold-faced
mm,
questions. So I could see through the data itself, my accuracy was very low in that. I was taking a longer time. And then when I started using the approach, then obviously my accuracy improved. For
yes,
hard questions, you can see the trend. Like as
yes.
you start applying the process, you can definitely see your accuracy improving and your time
Yes.
taken
So
kind
your
of
graph that your
yeah,
accuracy versus time graph is accuracy is going like this, time is coming down. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So
yes,
it's really refreshing looking from the data lens, and it kind of
yeah,
gives you confidence. Okay, it's working.
yes, exactly,
It's
right.
not
It
like a bambo
allows
jumbo.
you.
It's working. You can see
Yes,
the data exactly.
yes. You
So
can
that
see the improvement that you're making as you're progressing, right? That's a big shot in the arm. You know, those are those mini milestones that you achieve and mini motivational, uh, you know,
yeah,
things that you get out of that. So awesome. Like people say, all is well that ends well.
exactly.
And what an ending it has been, you know.
Yeah.
Huge overall improvement and 13-point verbal improvement. This is what I would say stories are made of. But, so do you have any key tips that you want to share with the other GMAT aspirants out there who want to get into, uh, their dream B schools by getting a great GMAT score? So how do you ace GMAT?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned earlier, I think consistency is the key. That had been my uh, major weakness. I was not
Mm-hmm,
consistent, and I believe even now I'm just trying to be more consistent, even both in my personal life and professional life.
mm-hmm,
But I can see that GMAT, eGMAT has all the tools and everything to ace the GMAT, right?
mm-hmm,
Uh, I would say that start believing in the process or what is being taught. Because a lot of times, as I said, key, in order to save time, you might not want to invest in the process. Initially,
mm-hmm,
it might take a longer for you to apply the process, but with time, I think it kind of happens automatically because, as I said, why had to revise and why had to redo everything in order to reach that phase again,
yeah,
where after reading the questions, you start in your mind itself, you start like decrypting everything, and
mm,
so uh, applying process automatically comes with practice, and that's why I had
mm,
to redo every time to reach that practice level so that you can apply everything. So
mm-hmm,
the course structure is all set. There are so many questions. Even I think the eGMAT questions are harder than actual questions. I
mm-hmm.
realize that. Yeah, so hard questions are definitely harder. So if you're working well here, then you can be sure that you will perform
Yeah.
well on eGMAT.
Like there's a saying, when you sweat in the battle, you don't bleed in
Yeah,
war.
exactly, exactly. So just I think just follow the process to the T, be
Mm-hmm.
consistent, and I think a good score will be in your reach. Yeah,
Yeah. I think one thing you forgot to say,
yeah.
never give up
Huh.
in the face
That
of all the
definitely.
adversities because,
And
you
have good
know,
mentors, and
yeah,
have good mentors who keep on pushing you.
yeah, really glad. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I'm so glad about the score. And I'm sure you will get into your Dream B schools. And I wish you all the very best for the upcoming applications and interviews. So Again, thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking your time out today from your busy schedule to be doing this, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.